Hello, welcome back to another episode of I don't know shit, but we're gonna pretend. So, yesterday I was attempting to make a jig for cutting tails, which I accidentally stopped the video, so I had to make a second video, which the sound was super messed up on. Now I have music playing. So I didn't end up posting it, but it did not work. So today I just actually time out. Look at all that. Look at that. Look at all that fucking keef. What? So today I decided I was going to build a stand or a mount, what have you. Instead of having it up high, I would like something that sets out in the open, that I can turn 360, that can toggle forward and back. You know, be able, because my countertop is pretty high, which was intentional, but for doing this stuff, it kind of sucks. So I decided, that is a dog hair. You cannot have dog hair. Anyways, so I decided today that I was still cheap and ghetto. We're using reclaimed shit around the shop. Nothing was purchased for today. We're just using what was lying around, just like I am currently using a speaker stand and a selfie stick to hold my camera, aka phone, and can now get way better visuals and angles. Dude, I'm about to put hella keef on this. Hold on, look at that. One. Oh, fucking gold right there. Two. Three, and let's go for four. When you roll your joint, it should look like that. Look at all that. Oh yeah. Oh, looky, looky. We're about to smoke this whole thing to the dome. So, this probably won't work. By the time I get done with this, it will have sounded like a good idea, but once you throw a little marijuana in the mix, anything is bound to happen. And even though I'm using ginormous papers, I still fucking don't have enough room to roll this. Anyways, how many of you guys out there potheads and smoke a little ganj while you build, or a lot? I personally enjoy it. I had a job for a long time that did not allow me to smoke, and now I am no longer in that job. And I said once I was no longer doing that for a living, I was just gonna smoke like there's no tomorrow. Oh no. Oh, I don't have to re-roll this. There's all that keef in there. Son of a bitch. I think we can save it. There's literally too much weed in there. Okay. Oh, I fucked that up. She'll burn. Fucking hella fucked up. But anyways, so we are going to check that out. I thought about doing another build on video, but I don't have a ton of time. We gotta let that dry. I don't have a ton of time today, so I'm just gonna. Did I cut it? Oh, I think I did. Son of a bitch. Hold on. We gotta reroll this. Anyway, so I'm gonna show you what I'm putting together. I also started another board last night. I got cooking in the oven, and I'm super hyped on this. This is gonna be the new popsicle model, which I don't have a full size of yet, so I am pretty stoked to get one going in the collection. Like I said, not completed. I've made 2 boards essentially. I made the mini for my daughter, and then I made the surf skate. When I was done with the mini, I pretty much cut into it right away, and I don't know if that was the right answer, so to say. So, and then I've heard other builders talking about letting their boards cure, so to speak, for like a week or 2. So I am letting the surf skate sit for 2 weeks before I cut into it, do any router work, which I believe I showed you guys that already. Because it just seemed like when I did the mini, it was too quick. It seemed like, I don't know. It seems like it's better to wait and cure, whatever you call it, harden. You know, you just took something and re-bent it in all kinds of crazy directions with a shit ton of glue, using veneers that come with, you know, levels of moisture and humidity in them. So like I said, it just, letting them sit seems like the way to go. I mean, some people say maybe you can just chop right into them, but I felt like that was not the best way to approach it. But like I said, I only have 1 board that's done, even though it's not done because it's in design stage, waiting to get the silk screen up and running, which I cleaned my screens yesterday and then let them dry overnight inside, so they're all dry. And then when I got home just a little bit ago, these papers suck. I put them, actually, let's set that right on there. I put them in my little dark room, so they're drying. I think it says you gotta wait like 4 hours or something minimum when you put the emulsion on for it to dry up. So I'm gonna do that. Another problem I think that could have happened on this last one was that I maybe put too much emulsion. I don't know if that's a thing. Damn, this glue sucks. I don't know if that's a thing, because I've never actually silk screened before. That will be changing here soon, of course. But yeah, we'll see tonight, tomorrow, what happens. Got weed in my mouth. And go from there. So now that that's done, let's check some shit out. I think on my Mini, I'm gonna add more color. I think what I'm gonna do is dip like a paintbrush in like some black and maybe white. Take my air compressor, hold the brush in front of the board, blow it with the air compressor, so it blows the paint and spackles it all over and gives it like a splashing effect. So I know I used to do masonry work, and we had to decorate bricks once, and they were speckled, and we were having a hard time getting the speckling down. And one of the guys was like, what if we do this? And use that technique, and it worked really good. Look at that fucking fatty. Blech! It's fucking bigger than a cigarette. So, let's light this up. No, not the crack lighter. Just enough. We'll take you on a tour. See what we got going. Damn, the glue's trying to come undone. There we go. All right. So, there's the new guy chilling. I just used the foam this time. I didn't put the board underneath it. I actually initially strapped it down because I was worried that this could maybe bend and give this a weird shape. But so far, I definitely like it. This may be a little bit much on the angle. I like this. If you look down it seems to have, it's hard to do this. It seems to have a pretty good line in it. I don't know if you can really see it good in this, but yeah, she looks pretty good. So I'm super excited about that. Now this is a wider mold, but I oversized it, and the concept is basically I'm gonna put either some blue, like my blue T-track, this shit down. It'll ride on that to come in and out and clamp. Or I may just make like its own channel somewhere in there. I also initially was thinking about having an end piece that comes in and out, adjustable size. But I think I'm gonna skip that, and just because I don't know how well this will work either, I'm gonna just stick with having it clamped in on the pressure, and then I can unclamp it and slide it out and in if need be. This is a factory edge here. So should work pretty good, but we shall see. But we're gonna finish building that, and then I am thinking about maybe either starting another board and making another mold, or getting one of my pre-existing molds ready to go. But I think it'll end up being a new board, and I got 3 options I'm looking at. My veneers are only 10 inches wide, so that's as wide as I can go. And then however long, the length's plenty, fine. And doing like a long board with no nose, no tail. So basically the mold will just have concave on the side running the whole mold. That's it. And the shape of the board would be like fat and then come in and taper in. So you ride the front, you know, and fucking carve that. Or I haven't done a penny board yet, so it'd be fun to make a penny board. Or lastly, do another popsicle, chill the nose and tail, make it, because right now it's more of aggressive nose and a tail, more like vert type, but maybe mellow it more of a street type, where the nose and tail are flatter. And I think the concave is still mellow, so I would probably keep it at this concave, but moving forward on like a vert board, pool board, something like that, with more of the aggressive nose and tail, I definitely think I'm gonna push the concave further. And right now, that mold is 10 inches wide. And I dropped the concave down, I went down 5/8. I know like Roar Rocket, one of their like main videos, they go like a 1/2 inch for the side, which is fine. This board here is at a 1/2 inch. I don't know how well you can see it on there. Maybe like, oh, it's hard to get the angle, but you can see it's not like, it's not a lot. So I'll put that right there. There you go. You can kind of see it there. That's your concave angle at a 1/2 inch. That's 5/8, which isn't crazy bigger, but looks like it makes a noticeable difference. On my surf skate, my initial mold, I went I went 1.5 inches, but that also was at the very end, which goes 1 inch past the size of the board, so it wouldn't have been a full 1.5 inches. I think it would have been almost 1 inch. So I think I'm gonna play around next board that I want a bunch of concave, and take my sides down to 3/4 to 1 inch and see what that gives me, and kind of figure out what I like. And then hopefully here I'm gonna open one of these molds. Don't get me wrong, I like all the boards I've made so far, which is 3. The mini, which is in paint stage. The surf skate longer board, which finished like 4 or 5 days ago. I want to wait 2 weeks on it. And then that third board. So very little experience, next to none. But so far, so good. So that's the thing for all you guys that are just getting into it. If you do your research, you're definitely going to have a hands-on learning curve, so to speak. But that research will pay off because when shit happens, you already remember reading it. Like, oh, I did too much glue or not enough glue, or they said check the bag, it's probably leaking, or that one guy was saying the first time you used the bag, you're sitting there like 20 minutes, it seems like, trying to get all the air out, use the fucking vacuum, get the bulk out. But make sure you take that gray cap off. Don't have this on when you do it, but don't take that off after you pumped it, because that'll let all your fucking air out. So anyway, for having limited hands-on time, I think it's going pretty well. So I'm stoked so far, and I would definitely recommend, if you're watching these videos and think about it, dude, get the shit. Get the shit. And buy at least 10 boards worth of veneers. That was perfect. 5 would have been too little. 10 is perfect. It keeps you busy for a while. And I feel like once you're done and you've made 10 boards, when you buy that next veneer, you're fucking dialed in at that point. You've probably got a mold that you're fucking stoked on and everything's locked in. It's not hard so far. I mean, it's hard, but it's not like crazy. You can do it. I am kind of scared about the screen printing thing. Like, I have experience with building, but I don't have experience with fucking screen printing. So I'm definitely worried about that. I'm curious to see how that goes. But it's just same thing. You just gotta do it a bunch, get it dialed in. Obviously, before I use a board, I'm gonna use just paper. Run prints on paper. Then I've got, like, the dollar store, they had these canvas patches. It's called like craft canvas. I'm gonna practice on a couple of those, so some fabric. Then I have a veneer-like material. Right before I do the board, I'm gonna practice on that. And then I was also thinking, when I do the paper, I wanna put it over the board so it has that curve, because I tried my squeegee, like, just as a practice, I put like a rag around it, put it on a clean board, and drug it like I was kind of silk screening. Because remember, ultimately the screen is going to conform to that concave. So essentially it's going to feel like very similar to that, just not that cool. That shit is so rewarding. So I'm going to have to make a squeegee. I think what I'm going to do is make like a kind of a curved cutout, like 2 like moon shapes maybe, and then I'm gonna put like a square dowel in the middle of the moon, so to speak. If the moon is this way longwise, it'll be right here in the middle, and then clamp the ends to make it just bend, and have like another piece underneath that as well. So it'll give it a curve that way, and it'll give it a curve that way. So when I pull, it's shaped like that, but then the squeegee itself is also, if that makes sense. So before I can successfully print, and I know I keep looking over here because the cameras flip. I know that fucking the camera is there, but I keep thinking it's there. That's why I keep looking up there. Anyways, so it's gonna be a minute before I can even do boards, but I got a bunch of practice to do, so I'm not in a super big hurry anyways. Back to what I was saying. So once I get like a good mold locked in, maybe not that one in particular because I'd be scared to cut it, but I would make a duplicate of it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start making a wood mold. So I'll take a finished mold that's already taped up and good to go, and I'm gonna cut it. So I've got, you know, like, not this is junky shit, but nice. And that's the thing, if you're making molds, okay, I have not made a wooden mold. No, I cannot speak from experience on that wooden mold. But if you've never built stuff and you've never made a mold either, I am going to tell you, don't use the 2x4s that most of them are going to tell you to use. And don't go out to the garage and grab this shit that you fucking had laying around that's hella bowed, right? Go to the store and get the good shit. See how that's shiny? Because it's finished. It's like $80 a sheet or something like that. But get this stuff. Anyways, and I'm gonna cut it in 1.5 inch strips. And then I'm gonna take those strips, which will all be labeled, and I'm gonna lay them on top of 2 of these put together, trace the shape and make a male and a female, and do that all the way across, put them together, plane, chisels, sand, whatever them down into a smoothed form after they've all been glued and doweled together, and see what we get. I don't even have a press. To do it yet, but I have wood. I just got hella angle iron too for my work. Super stoked on the boss. Speaking of that, any of you guys that maybe already build or looking to build a press, hear me out. You've got bags, right? Totally different. And bags, if you're gonna do bags, your end goal should be to totally step away from this system and look at like a veneering setup, which the bags are usually like 4 to 6 feet wide, and then they're like 8, 10, 12 feet long, and they just stay rolled up, and you run a vacuum to it. There's a veneering table that's basically like that plastic shit that everything sits on, that sits in the bag that you, anyways. Oh, and to make the pump, it's like $236. Fucking, they have a website and it gives you step by step, a part breakdown, what it's called. Which, even if you want a just a regular hard press, you have to start with that. So definitely go with that being your end game when it comes to bag presses. But if you plan on producing lots, you're definitely going to want the wood or the concrete press, giving you the ability to crank out like 5 at a time. Some guys do. There's guys that make double stacks, triple stacks, where they have forms, space, forms, space, forms, well, not space, metal, and their jacks or whatever system, instead of pressing one board in the middle and using a little space in that mouth opening, or pressing 3 or 4. So that's something to think about. But one thing you don't see a lot of is you don't see the airbag versions. So a lot of guys will use hand jacks, just your bottle jack pumps, where you have to make sure you're pumping them at the same time. You can't have them like at different heights as they're going up. Then you've got your pneumatic, which you can get a 20-ton pneumatic jack from Harbor Freight, $169 for one of them, but they go on sale for like $119. So you can get them on Amazon for like $120. So you can get 2 of them for $240, which isn't bad. But how about bags, right? Because if you use any kind of a pump, like system like that, jack, I don't care, you know, obviously it's going to be under like a beam or steel dispersing. It's still all isolated to that one point that comes up to that spot. Where if you use an airbag, it's the whole entire span is getting equal pressure. There's no hot spots, nothing. It is all equal pressure all the way across. Where do you get them? What are they called? So I started researching this. This is some crazy shit. So if you research like airbag jacks, right? Fuck, and of course I'm not gonna remember the name. You're gonna see all kinds of weird shit. They've got ones where it's like, it looks like 3 balls on top of each other, and it's the same thing as like a pump jack. You don't want that shit. Type in like I think Vector is the name. Type in Vector firefighter airbag jacks, right? They run from 70 ton all the way up to, I think I saw 120 ton. 120 ton on a 24 by 36 mat. 24 by 36. 120 tons of pressure this thing can produce. It's insane. Imagine what you could do with that though in conjunction with this. Now the problem, if you want to go out proper and buy a Vector airbag kit, brand new, plan on spending $7,000 to $12,000 probably. But if you go on eBay, I found one guy in particular, he has 4 of them up, all for $100. $100, dude. But it's just the bag. I don't know if you need a special air system to get them to inflate to certain levels, or if you can use it with a compressor. Does it have to be a powerful compressor? So that's something I'm still researching, so don't buy it without looking into that. I don't know, and then watch the fucking YouTube videos on it. They got firefighters out there and they're running these switches and they're running multiple bags and they can control the pressure perfectly in each bag. It's so dope. And they're showing how they use them. We would obviously be using them flat surface to flat surface. Well, how they use them is like under cars, so it forms to any shape that it touches. It's crazy. It's so cool. So I don't know, you may even have to build like a box for it, you know? I don't know if it would just like push out the sides, and then whatever your bones of it is, your stand itself, ain't no fucking around. You're not using fucking your little 6x6 beam bullshit with that. That's not gonna fly. That's probably gotta be all 1/4 inch minimum, like 4x4 fucking steel or something. I don't know. I'm sure it's with bolts. Oh, I'm sure it's gnarly. But those bags, if you can control the amount, I mean, I don't think you really need 120. I think they say the max is 40 tons or something. So if you got one and ran it off a compressor and only trying to get 40 tons out of something that's 70 to 120, right? How dope would that be? Now, why are they so cheap? So they're cheaper because they have been fucked up, like during training. They'll show you, basically there's these square, it looks like a square rubber mat, right? And the corners of them are damaged, they've been torn. Then you're like, wait, that's an airbag that fills with enough fucking pressure to make 120 tons of force, and it's got a fucking rip in it. When you look at some of those YouTube videos, what it is there's a bladder in the middle, right? And there's like rubber that thick all the way around surrounding that bladder, and that bladder pushes all that shit out. so the bladder is like miles away from the corner. I'm not an expert. I would do your research because that's a lot of force. But my thinking is if it's on the side and it's something that's rated at double of what you plan on using it for, why not? And I'm sure I don't fucking hook up air systems, but I'm sure it wouldn't be hard to YouTube how to put, fucking a pressure reader and all that shit, some kind of gauge on it, system for it to run through. So anyways, that's something to think about. With that said, after, I take a mold and cut it into whatever, 14, 16, I don't know, 12 pieces, whatever it is, make all the strips and put them together, that'll be next on the agenda way down the line. But we're still documenting the process of, you're that guy who's watching all these rad videos of how to build skateboards. If you wanted to do it, could you really do it? I don't know. So, with pretty simple tools here, just a basic guy, I'm going through the process, and it has been a blast. It has been affordable, but can be expensive. And isn't easy, but look, dude, at the end of the day, if you really like something and are into it and you're spending hours researching it, you're excited to do it, it is your happy place, you're gonna do it good. So I promise you, although there is technical stuff involved, if you're interested enough to go through the process of just making the deck, not even doing design, you can do it, dude. You can totally do it. I'm in love with it, so I'm going above and beyond. I'm trying to come up with ideas of stuff that haven't been put out there, that I haven't seen. I'm also in a group called DIY Skateboard Builders on Facebook. If you build skateboards, go to that. That is the best informational piece hub you will find on the internet that I've found so far. I'm sure there's like Reddit shit. I don't fucking do the Reddit thing. I like pretty pictures. I don't fucking want to read. Show me a video or a picture of it, and then if I like it, then I'll read on it. So this is all DIYers, and there's got like the one guy that I've talked to who does this like legit. He has a fucking board. He like pinstriped it, dude. It's got Wu-Tang on it. It's fucking sick, dude. Caveman snow skates. Check it out. They don't have a website. It's either Instagram or Facebook. He makes these fucking sick fucking snow skates with fucking custom bomber skis that are made. I don't know if he makes those or has another guy make them. I know he started making them, but the whole thing's made by hand. Nothing's from a factory. Anyways, the ski size will depend on the snow. So there's smaller ones for like parks and just ripping, all the way up to just ginormous ones for like POW days. And I didn't know this, but your regular snow skate, basically a skateboard, no trucks or wheels, you can't ride that on most mountains, which I did not know, unless it's like set up for it. But the ones with the skis on the bottom, you can ride them, get a lift ticket and ride them at the mountain legit, and get a lift ticket and be fine, I guess, which I didn't know, thought was interesting. So if you like that, check them out. Super cool guy, badass videos. But anyway, yeah, if you're thinking about it, do it, dude. Because I was just like you. I wanted to know if I could build this shit. And I've never done a YouTube or any of this shit. But it has been fun. And this is cool documenting it. Because I've even gone back in some of my videos to like double check shit or couldn't remember something. So it's like a fucking free cloud, dude. You could totally use this to document all your shit. And yeah, the fucking whole world can see it if you make it public. which is fine. But, you know, it's like a free cloud. I mean, you can't beat that. So we're gonna finish this up and get it together, and yeah. Fuck, dude, it's a lot of shit, but it's fun. I'm just looking at my silk screen stand, which is super rough. I'm definitely gonna change that up, but it'll get us going for now. And I want to come up with something to show people how to just make those C-clamps, so if you can't get them offline, there's a ton of different ways you can do it, but something like simple that like everybody has in their garage. So if you can think of one, put it on the comments, tell people to look at it. But if you're building these, put it up, man, because I want to see what you're doing, because you're gonna do it different than me, and you may do different shit. It's fucking flood all of YouTube with a bunch of fucking guys building skateboards, and girls. If there's chicks watching that like it, fuck yeah. I don't know. Is that, can you say that now? I don't know. It's not offensive. I think it's dope as shit if girls are making these too, but I've mainly seen guys. So anyways, back to the build. See you guys later.